Hi, welcome to my channel. It's Sister and I, your virtual big sister. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about healing, and we're going to be talking about seasons, and we're going to be talking about God's timing. I don't know about you, but in the last episode, in episode 1 of the Divorce Diaries, talking a little bit about my story, and even though I might not have divulged or delved too much into it, but I want to say that divorce is painful. No matter what anyone says, even if you see parties, just like I explained in the last video, that when I was waiting for the decree to come through the door, when I was waiting for my marriage to be dissolved, the feeling that I felt during the wait was that when I received this letter, I am going to rejoice and I'm going to have a party. But actually, when I received the letter, that feeling was very short-lived, and initial reaction was, oh, finally it happened. But then when it happened, it was a feeling of what next, what now, and everything that I was holding back almost started to slowly creep in. The hurt, the disappointment, the feeling of failure started to creep in. So, which is why today we're going to be talking about healing, which is why we're going to be talking about seasons, which is why it's really important to delve into that. And in Luke chapter 17, verse 17 to 19, Jesus asked, "Didn't I heal 10 men? Where are the other 9? Only one man returned to give thanks." And Jesus told him, "Your faith has healed you." That scripture made me pause for a second. And I'm also reminded about the people that Jesus healed. Often it was their faith that healed them. Like the woman that touched Jesus' hem of his garment, and he felt the power living out of him. And he said, "Someone touched me." But when he healed her, he said, "Your faith has healed you." And one more thing I think that is really profound about this was that the man was so grateful. He was grateful that he was healed. And something happens when you've gone through a situation and you start to heal and you go through the healing process. You have a different sense of life. You have a different sense of the world at large. You are grateful because when you start to really think about it, that could have been easily something that took you out. Whatever that situation was or is, that could be something that could easily take you out. As for me, I have since learned that this is an opportunity for me. This is an opportunity to tell my story. This is an opportunity for me to share my faith. This is an opportunity to share my gratitude to God, to shout it on the rooftops, to say, the Lord did it for me, and He is doing it for me on a day-to-day basis. One thing that is very interesting is that often growth comes from painful situations. Not entirely, but growth comes from painful situations, because you will not forget whatever you went through, but you must not stay there. You've got to heal, and you've got to forgive, you've got to be grateful, and you've got to grow. And this is taking me to thinking of seasons, because sometimes you are exactly where you are supposed to be. In that pain, in that wilderness, you are probably being prepared, you're probably being pruned, and it's really necessary for you to be in that place so that you can grow. In Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, it says, "For everything there is a season." Everything there is a season. There's a time, it says, there's a time for weeping, there's a time for laughing, there's a time for celebrating, there's a time for everything. But I feel that naturally as humans, we equate downtimes as abandonment, as rejection, as being left in the desolate desolate place. But God is shaking you, is preparing you, He is pruning you in that place. When you come out of it, you will come out like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. Because when you look at beautiful things, often they start off from being somewhat ugly or somewhat beaten down, like a diamond. It has to be crushed before it looks that beautiful. A diamond needs to be crushed before it looks absolutely beautiful. So in that Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, it says, a time for every activity under heaven. Life is full of seasons. Seasons of waiting, seasons of healing, seasons of celebration, seasons of blessings. And it's really important that we know that we get to identify these seasons, that we get to know what season we are in. And this is leading me to 1 Chronicles. In 1 Chronicles 12:32, the sons of Issachar explained that it was 200 men, but the sons of Issachar came from the bloodline of Jacob and Leah. Leah was the wife that was unloved wife of Jacob, because Jacob loved Rachel. But out of Leah's belly, she gave birth to children that created this lineage of these men of Issachar. And these Issacharites people went on and on in the Bible, but they were very in tune with time. They knew the seasons that they were in. And when you get to read a bit further, I am currently reading the Deborah anointing. Deborah was a judge, a woman who was part of this Issacharite tribe, and she also knew the time and the seasons. But for this particular time, it's really important how you've got to, and we all have to discern where we are at. When I think of where I am right now, I feel that I am exactly where I ought to be. I'm exactly where I must be. This is the exact place that I ought to be, even though behind the scenes I might be celebrating, you don't know that, or fighting wars that no one fully would even understand, because there's so many people who are fighting wars, silent battles, and they've got a smile on their face, and you'd never know. But what's really important is for you to identify the season that you're in. And after something so painful as a divorce, you've got to identify that first. Before you move on to anything new, you've got to heal first, sis. You've got to heal first, bro. You've got to heal before you move on to the next thing. This is what I realized, and this is what I have been realizing, that there is a time sometimes where you've got to heal so that you'll be able to see the good in the next season. That time of healing is essential. So you've got to allow yourself to heal emotionally. Psychological and emotional healing is important, because statistics say 1 in every 4 people at any given time, one is battling with some kind of a psychological and emotional issue. But the testament is whether you come out of it unscathed. And even if you come out of it scathed, the fact is you've come out. So when we think about the healing emotionally, perhaps signing up to therapy. If therapy is not affordable, perhaps watching YouTube channels. There's so many YouTube channels that are faith-based, Christian-based, that focus on mental, psychological healing. And I'm not trying to plug Jerry Flowers for this, but I can't help but plug him. Redefine TV, Therapy Thursdays on YouTube here is absolutely an amazing resource, because a lot of it is talking about relationships. It's talking about finding yourself and learning how to deal with your emotions, learning how to to heal mentally. And often this is something that can be quickly rushed over, because the world will say that you've got to microwave your healing very quick, very fast, because a lot of people don't know how to react when people are divorced or when relationships break down. This could be family breakdowns. It can be very painful, because often you would have entrusted your life to these people. And sometimes it's very hard to be a part of any community if you're not fully healed emotionally and mentally. And the next thing, healing physically. It's very interesting how things like stress, anxiety caused from divorce or from any breakdown of a relationship, from anything, cause physical problems. Many of the issues that we see that are prevalent are lifestyle conditions. For example, diabetes is a lifestyle condition. Except for those that have type 1 diabetes, majority of them, they are unable to produce insulin. But type 2 is almost entirely a lifestyle condition that comes from not taking care of yourself, not eating well, and other conditions like autoimmune diseases. Statistics are highly researching and talking about how autoimmune diseases are being caused by merely not taking care of ourselves, and it also feeds into anxiety, depression, mental health as well, but comes off from having those mental conditions to causing you physical reactions, physical conditions. There are also a lot of other medical conditions that are caused by so much of this. The hurt, the pain that comes after something like a divorce. Another thing is heal from the world or the ideals or the ideas that you thought you had. Heal from the expectations that you had. Heal from the failure or from the feeling that you failed. You've got to heal from that. You can't move on to the next thing until you come to terms with what is. And when you come to terms with it and you accept it. Because with divorce, you go through the 5 stages of grief. You are bargaining, where you are in denial, and I know that sometimes people say, oh, I don't care and what not. But the truth is, at some point you did care. At some point you hoped that this would work out. At some point you looked at it as a happy ever after situation. And often you are dealing with disappointment. You're dealing with rejection. You're dealing with feelings of being deceived, and all of those feelings collectively. And sometimes even debt. You're dealing with debt, you're dealing with all sorts of things. You're trying now, if you've even had children together, you're now trying to co-parent, and that is no walk in the park. It is not easy trying to co-parent, because sometimes some people just walk away and they start afresh. They completely do away with the old and they go to the new. Most likely not changing, most likely not healing. But that's not you. That's not you who's watching this video. So it's really important that we heal first from this, and we get to know what season we are in. We get to understand that if the whole year from January to December, there are 4 seasons. There's summer, winter, autumn, spring. And with those months, there's differences in weather. There's differences in the clothing that you have to wear. So got to thank God for each and every season, including this one particular season. So I don't know if this video has found you fresh out of a marriage and you're looking for a video like I did, you're looking for a video that will talk to you from a faith-based, a Christian-based element. Because when I was looking for videos, this is what I was finding. I was finding that so many people were saying, you've got to heal, but a lot of it was very aesthetic. Go on dating apps, get your confidence back, which is fine. We are all different and I am not hating on that. But this is particularly for any person who is looking for faith-based information, Christian, Christ-centered information following a divorce. And for me, I wanted something different. I wanted to find information that was different. So here's what I want you to take away from this message today. Know the season that you are in. Recognize your season. Don't rush what God is doing in your life. Allow God to do what he must do. Don't microwave your season. Don't microwave your healing. Return to gratitude. Find something to be thankful for. The fact that you're breathing. The fact that you're still here to even tell everybody your story, to tell your tale. That is a blessing. There are many people who did not make it, and I'm not saying this as a toxic positivity mantra, but some people did not make it through some marriages. They went out through a coffin. And it's not only through domestic violence, it's also through ill health, from stress-related diseases, from the pain that they had to endure and go through. Whatever is happening behind closed doors, we don't know that. We don't know. But God never created us to be people that live in suffocating, stifling, painful situations. I want you to take that away. And I pray that if you find this comforting, if you find this word comforting, please connect with me in any way. Write in the comments, DM me my TikTok, DM me on my Instagram. And lastly, seek discernment. Ask God for wisdom to know the best course of action. Like I said, the sons of Issachar were people that knew the times. Get to know from discerning, get to know where you are and what kind of move you need to make. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What season do you think you're in right now? And what one thing, just one thing that you're grateful for today? Write it in the comments. Until next time, take care and don't forget to share this with somebody that needs it. And don't forget what season you're in. Stay blessed.